Hello everyone and welcome to the SCD Michelin Final. We are just in the last few minutes of free practice before we go into the qualifying session for the finals race. We've got SCD members that have competed in a previous round held at Goodwood over 2 races. The top 6 of each have gone through to this final here in Le Mans. We also have some guest drivers. Paul Wallace from YouTube channel Supercars London, and also racing driver Oliver Webb. Hope you're looking forward to the race today, as much as we all are. Yesterday's runners-up race here at Le Mans was rather an exciting one. Some big changes happening right towards the end on the last lap. Paul famously had misfueled his Nissan GTR and ended up losing 4 spaces on the very last lap of this 12-lap race. People have been taking it very seriously. There's been lots of car changing, messing with setups where possible, although we are using a balanced performance setting to keep things as fair as possible. Today it could be absolutely anybody's race. AMG GTR seems to have been quite a popular choice for members. Used to opt in for some different cars. A couple of Nissan GTRs in this. Porsche Kart 27 car, giving us a bit more variation. No prizes for guessing what car this is based on. Better known as the Nissan GTR / Bugatti Veyron World Record Edition. It's a black and orange livery. Ollie Webb a favourite to win this race today. Also opting for the AMG GTR. Just a few more minutes left until we're going into the qualifying session. Oh, and Ollie spins it! That's not a good way to build your confidence before a race. No doubt we'll be hearing those racing driver excuses from Ollie. We'll be feeding back as much as possible of what's happening in the race. With the weaving, I'm guessing it's down to cold tyres. Should be warm enough after that spin. Although opting not to go for the usual AMG GTR is Chris. and an Aston Vantage. Sticking with the car that he actually owns. Lovely livery on that. This event is being held in conjunction with Michelin, with a prize for the winner. The fastest SCD member to win this race will be given a free set of Michelin tyres for their supercar, potentially worth in excess of £1,000. As you can imagine, this week practice sessions have been rather heated. Porsche. Lovely livery on that car. All of the cars today are starting or will be using both softs and mediums in the race. It is compulsory for them to use both sets of tyres. This might play into some strategy games. The AMG's been particularly good on fuel and can potentially run a little bit longer on those softs. So we'll have to see if this comes into play. The AMGs seem not to be quite as strong when they switch to the mediums as some of the other cars. And we are ready to go for qualifying. We'll have to excuse the odd selection of screens as I'm running the race. As well as commentating. First out of the pits, it's Paul Wallace in a beautifully coloured chrome AMG. Paul famously doing very well in his last race in a Lamborghini Huracan. He's actually using a control pad, not a steering wheel. Let's see if this harms any of his times. He put in a really strong performance at Goodwood. Very colourful Beetle. Mick. Daddy-daughter design. You're not going to miss that one, and who knows, it could play into tactics by putting off other drivers with the sheer glare of that colour. The Bugatti Nissan of Aaron. Round on the outlap. We've got roughly a 20-minute session here today. Ricky Rigg, winner of the Goodwood race on Sunday. Definitely one of the favourites here today at Le Mans. Very nicely liveried AMG, being followed by Chris and the other Aston, using that slipstream to his advantage. Not really worth it on the outlap, but that might give him an advantage if he can keep with him for his first flying lap. Some good Michelin liveries going off here, especially on Joel's car. Waving the flag. But just a reminder, everyone competing today, barring racing driver Ollie Webb, are competing for a set of Michelin tyres for their supercar worth over £1,000. That's quite some prize, and it has been causing a lot of competitive behaviour this week in the practice sessions. Another favourite. G's been putting in some really quick lap times this week. The Porsche. Another Porsche for the Kart 27 car, spec'd like his own GT3 RS in green. If you remember from the Goodwood race, he was running quite a high position. Just before the last lap, had an off, costing him a good space or two. No doubt he'll be playing it a little bit carefully today. Another AMG, terrible shot, also known as Stuart. No one seems to have opted for the Audi R8 despite such a Stuart here owning an Audi R8. A lot of tactics seems to be going off, people looking at how long they can stretch out on their Michelin soft tyres. Another non-AMG car here is Rob. The iValet Nissan GTR. Rob being especially competitive this week. Not too happy when he put in a good 15 hours practicing in concept cars, finding out later on that I decided to ban them from this race. I'm sure that track experience will have still paid off, as he's been putting in some quick times in this GTR. A car which led for most of the race yesterday in the runners-up race here at Le Mans. But on the very last lap, due to short fueling, had to run the leanest setting possible, and after a mistake lost his lead from 20 seconds down to 4th position. Let's hope no one else does that mistake today. Paul still kicking himself for that little mistake yesterday. And I'm sure he's not heard the end of it from his wife either. So let's look at some times. People are now on their first flying lap. Craig out front. Nice bit of clear track in front of him as he runs slightly wide. The exit of Arnage. We do seem to have got groups. This could be a strategic thing of people trying to use each other's slipstreams. They are set to weak, so that might aid a few people with their lap times in qualifying. But you can't beat a nice bit of clear track. So Ricky's coming round. He'll be the first one to settle up. Coming into the Ford chicane now. Let's see what a benchmark time is. Ricky goes a 3:58, a good, strong, solid time. Chris in the Aston, Mr. Silk Lightning, 8/10 off Ricky's pace. Shortly followed by Aaron in the AMG, in the GTR, sorry, Nissan GTR. That many AMGs, it's difficult not to call every car an AMG. Joel's taking 4th space so far. Followed by the Porsche of Nigel. Mick in 6th currently. Stuart taking up 7th. G setting a slower time than expected. Ollie and Paul Wallace would maybe appear to be running off the pace, however I think this might be down to finding a nice bit of clear track, sacrificing that first qualifying lap for the sake of having another attempt. Ollie Webb putting in a purple 2nd sector. Not fine way behind, we've got Paul Wallace trying to tag on to a bit of slipstream maybe. Probably just that little bit too far off. Ollie's running behind Paul Wallace, so maybe he's the one that can tag on to that slipstream. Ollie goes quickest again. Again, this could be tactics. G having a nice bit of clear space on track. .5 second penalty for Stuart in the terrible shot AMG. We do have track boundaries on. Times will be added. People, ooh, we're not racing yet. Mick's going for an undertake. Might have nudged Aaron in the Nissan GTR there. That spoilt his lap. Aaron's put in a good solid first attempt, running 3rd. Oh, and there's a nice slide from Nigel in the Kart 27 Porsche. Riding on board now with Stuart. Accelerating away. Brutal noise of them changes on the AMG. Coming into the Porsche curves. Seems to have lifted quite early for that. Ollie Webb posting a super quick time of 3:56. That's 1.8 seconds ahead of Ricky. Ollie Webb now going pole. Let's ride with him for a little bit. See how hard he's pushing, if he's on another quick one. He's actually gone purple again, taking 2/10 off his previous lap. Coming onto the Mulsanne. He has got the rest of his lap, so he could improve on his time. Be interested to see if anyone can get near that 3:56. Those tactics of wasting one lap, and it's late braking into third. Still another 2/10 up. Let's see if he can get that into the 3:55s. And he's picked up a slowdown penalty. So although he is running a quicker lap, that half a second will cost him. Here is your second place man. Let's see if he's able to improve at all on his time. He's improved. He's knocked another 7.75 seconds off his previous best. I'm not sure that'll be enough to give him pole. Chris in the Aston still holding third place currently. But picks up a penalty. People trying so hard, they are picking up penalties. Those track limits being pushed to the max. Aaron is actually not feeling very well. He's going to try his best to do the full race. Speaking to him this morning, it does sound like he has actually contracted the dreaded COVID. Working on the front line. It's a fair play for him, even taking part in qualifying and being here today. Still setting a quick time. Fourth fastest in qualifying so far. See how long he can hold out for. Does he improve through the Ford chicane? And he short shifts. Last few cars coming over the line. Robbing the iValet car. Got a nice bit of clean track. 3.8 seconds off pole. Can he improve on this lap as he comes flying through the Porsche curves? And we have a change I think GTR being one of the cars. This is your current standings. Paul Wallace, only 9th. Was expecting a better time from Paul. Using a controller does leave you open to a few errors. So we have Ollie Webb in pole, Ricky Rigg 1.2 seconds behind in second position. Chris in the Aston taking up third. His steering wheel adapter only just having turned up a couple of days ago. Should see an improvement on his last performance, but he still did manage to qualify for the final. Aaron currently in the Nissan GTR. Hopefully he's going to be able to make some of the race, but is especially ill this morning. Let's see what he can do today. Here's your grid. This is the start of the SCD Michelin final at Le Mans. Prepare for the off. We'll go straight into the spectate. And they're off. It's a good start for the AMGs. Ollie Webb eking out front. Ricky coming round the outside. Ollie keeping it into turn one. Oh, and there's contact. Ollie Webb's sideways, but somehow manages to keep it on the track. Did we get everyone through? Ricky Rigg in second, keeping in that slipstream of Ollie's. He's going to be looking to try and get past and make the most out of it at the start of this race. He's looking strong. He has picked up a 0.5 second penalty, as it's AMGs running in first, second, third and fourth. Ricky going for the overtake. Round the outside into the PlayStation chicane, and Joel running wide in the other AMG, losing out spaces. Drops from third down to 7th. Ricky Rigg now race leader. Ollie using some of that slipstream to catch back up and take back his lead. These two are neck and neck as they're coming up to the Michelin chicane. It's close. Somehow managing not to touch each other. Ollie runs slightly wide on the exit of the Michelin chicane, allowing Ricky to come up alongside. There's no slipstream there. They are neck and neck on the Mulsanne straight. Literally nothing in it whatsoever. As they come into Mulsanne, Ricky brakes late and takes the lead again from Ollie. Aaron meanwhile's fought his way back up to third position. Side by side again. Coming into the high speed Indianapolis. A corner which you can take flat, but you may lose a few tenths. Ollie going around the outside and leaving it power on. Oh, Ricky's on the gravel. And this is the battle for third. We've got a four-way battle here for third position. Aaron, Joel, Mick and Rob. And now the kart 27 car of Nigel into the Porsche is also caught up to this battle for third place. Out front we've still got the battle for first between the two AMGs of Ollie Webb and Ricky Rigg. What a start to the SCD Michelin final here at Le Mans. Ricky sticking in that slipstream, not taking any chances, although he did just put a wheel on the grass. Tucking it up in behind Ollie. And Ollie takes the left-hand side of the circuit, coming up to the Ford chicane. Both keeping it tidy. Race leader Ollie Webb in the black AMG. Ollie puts in the fastest lap. First lap is a 4:01.5. Both kicking up dust. Aaron still holding third position, while Rob, who looks like he's had a fair bit of contact there in the Nissan GTR, taking up fourth. Looks like he's had a serious rear ender with the back wing of that. How dare they damage the SCD logos. Oh, both running wide. In Tête Rouge. These two still battling it out for first. Ricky diving down the inside to come up to the PlayStation chicane. Ollie holding back, keeping it safe, looking for a better exit. Slingshot his way back past Ricky. This is going to be a hell of a tussle. It's close. He dives for the overtake. Retakes the lead into the Michelin chicane, but Ricky's having a look down the inside. And there's a three-way battle going on. Joel managing to get past, pushing Aaron out of the way, which has cost him dearly, having lost 2 spaces from that contact. This is a big battle, all for third place. The other Nissan GTR, Rob, is looking down the inside into Mulsanne. Joel runs wide, and we're 3 abreast. Beetle startling everybody with its bright colour scheme. Beetle's looking around the outside. Joel and Mick battling it out for that third position. Oh, this contact! Mick spins on the exit to Indianapolis. And Aaron outbrakes into Arnage. That's costing him dearly. He's now at the back of this pack, running 7th position. Chris in the Aston, who qualified in 3rd position, having dropped back to 8th. With the look on that Aston, it looks like there's been some serious contact. Maybe it had an off on the first lap. Now got Mick in the Beetle coming up behind him. two Porsches running in 10th and 11th position currently. And the Kart 27 car runs very wide out of Maison Blanc. Back with your race leader, and he seems to have pulled out a 6.6 second lead over Ollie Webb. I can only imagine that Ollie might have made a mistake, or there's been some sort of contact, losing 6 seconds to Ricky Rigg. Now having Joel tagging onto the back of that slipstream. Find out how Ollie's managed to fall back that lead to Ricky. Joel looking down the inside, but not quite close enough to go for an overtake. Paul Wallace has worked his way up through the pack, having had a very poor qualifying session. He's now running in 4th position, just in front of Stewart, the other AMG, who set the fastest lap of the race so far on lap 2, a 3:57.3. BT Anonymous car having dropped back slightly. The Nissan being especially quick on the straight, so will be no doubt using that to his advantage to cut back through, work his way up through the pack. And Ollie makes a mistake in Mulsanne, losing a place to Paul Wallace. He's now side by side by Stewart. Terrible shot. Coming down to Indianapolis. Paul having had a stonker of a lap, gaining lots of spaces. Ollie apparently that off that he had at the end of the Mulsanne straight being due to a bit of contact. Joel outbraking himself, coming up behind, which has cost Ollie dearly. He's now down to 4th. AMG seemed to be very successful at the first part of this race. This seemed to have been a bad choice for a lot of people yesterday in the runners-up race, but we now have AMGs in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 7th. Paul Wallace now hunting down the leader, and Paul Wallace puts in a stonker of a lap. 3:56.5. He's now the quickest man in this race. Chasing after Ricky Rigg, the leader, who picks up a 0.5 second penalty. And it's side by side action as Ollie, no doubt wanting to make up ground. Make his way back past after the incident, being shoved off. in the slipstream of Stewart, who also goes for the overtake on Paul Wallace. We have 3 AMGs now battling it out for second. Can Ollie do 2? No. He manages to take Paul and dive into the slipstream of Stewart. And he's on an overtake again. Can he make it back past Paul? Is tucked up behind Ollie. No doubt wanting to get past the other AMG too. Both make it cleanly past as they come up to the Michelin chicane. And there's contact on the entrance. Ooh, contact again. Ooh, I thought Ollie had lost it then. Coming out of the Michelin chicane sideways. As he chases down this pair again in this race for second position. We have another battle going off. 3 cars exchanging paint and places for 6th position. Rob in the I-Valley GTR, having made up some spaces. Get past Aaron, who's dropped back again. Aaron's still holding out in this race, coming up to the end of lap 4. But has not been feeling too good, which might affect a lot of concentration levels. But he's still out there, he's still braving it, and improves on his own time by 2.5 seconds on this lap. Aaron, who's a frontline worker, helping people with brain injuries, and because of that has picked up the coronavirus, but still wanted to turn out today in his Bugatti World Record Edition themed car to make this race just that little bit better. Still willing to take part. Fair play. He's having a great tussle here with Chris in the Aston, who's looking for a way past. Oh, Aaron runs wide. Maison Blanc, but keeps it. Will he get a penalty for that? It's the Ford chicane. It's tight between this group, all fighting for 5th position. He's now caught up on the other GTR and the I-Valley livery of Rob. Keeping it tight. As they come round the S's and into Tete Rouge. Joel running wide in Tete Rouge, picking up the speed advantage, but having a penalty because of that. An extra 1 point. Now up to 1.5 seconds, exceeding track boundaries. Oh, and there's contact on the entrance. Rob having to cut after coming into contact with the Aston of Chris. Joel also making it through, tucking up behind the Aston. But that GTR is tucked up behind and has some fantastic straight line speed as he runs over the camera. Round the outside, coming up to the Michelin chicane, 3 abreast. Who's going to come out on top? It's Rob in the Eye Valley Nissan GTR. Keeping it clean. Pulling away at the front. Seeing if he can accelerate away from the pack. Not with that slipstream. Let's see how things pan out into Mulsanne. Joel going down the inside. There's contact on the way in. And he outbrakes himself, taking Rob with him. Does seem to be a common occurrence, Joel outbraking himself into that corner. There's been no love lost between these two in practices, having had a fair bit of contact. They're both looking to go either side of Mick in the Beetle. And managing to keep that, but Mick outbrakes himself. They're both in the gravel. Joel having spun, trying to get back. His car ghosting. That leaves a little bit of clear air for Rob in the Eye Valley car as he pulls away. And Aaron's having a look. He's going to go around the outside into the Porsche curves. But can't quite make it stick. Touching the grass on the inside. Chris here in his Aston, keeping faithful to the car that he owns. Being a new Aston owner, nice to keep with the brand. Carrying a lovely livery with the NHS logos on the front. Been a member for quite some time. Joining up originally with a BMW M2. Then making a switch to an Aston Martin. Has done quite a bit of racing in his time. Mainly on Xbox. Does do a lot of track days with SCD though. Paul Wallace now having dropped back to 4th position, and Ollie Webb has worked his way back up to 2nd. Meanwhile, Ricky Rigg out front has pulled out a 9.2 second lead as he comes into the PlayStation chicane. Ooh! Slightly losing it and having to cut that corner. AMG looking slightly skittish as we're just past half race distance. Ricky here from Royal Windsor. In the club drives an Audi R8. Also a Renault 5 with an SCD sticker. As far as practice goes for this, he's done about 1,000 laps of the Goodwood circuit preparing for that first race. Not quite as many as he has done before for this race. And we've got two Nissan GTRs battling it out for 6th. Aaron flashing the lights, letting him know that he's still there, tucked up. This Nissan battle. The back end of Rob's car looking even worse than it did before. Rob, the Eye Valley car, prefers to go by the name of Dilbert. Previous race experience being that of snail racing. Not quite sure how successful he was in this. Maybe the race is still going on. Definitely not snail racing today. It's putting up a decent performance in that GTR as Aaron's having another look. Just found out that Aaron is actually running lean, potentially looking to eke out those softs, those Michelin soft tyres that he's running. And he's had an off, on the exit of Indianapolis. Let's see if he can try and get that back. Mickey looking to take advantage in the Herbie Beetle. Love the colour scheme on this thing. Designed with his 2.5-year-old daughter just the other night. Looking to impress spectators. Oh, and there's contact again between Mick and Aaron as he makes it past. Aaron running lean, not giving him quite the power that he needs. The Chopsy and Bump car making it past. Chopsy being the nickname for his daughter, and the Bump referring to the fact they have just found out they're expecting a second child. So congratulations to Mick for that as he comes into pit at the end of lap 6. This gives Aaron a little bit of breathing space here, with Joel bearing down behind. Looking to make up for that off that he had with Mick not so long since. He'll be enjoying that clear circuit, running a nice line through turn 1. Ollie Webb has set the fastest lap of the race now, a 3-minute 54-second lap, meaning he's brought that lead of Ricky Riggs down from 9 seconds to 7 seconds, and it's reducing constantly. Ollie Webb is definitely on it, and he wants to make sure that he shows everyone what a racing driver can really do, not just make excuses. This is where the actual track experience comes into it. Ollie knowing his way around this circuit well before taking to this championship. Being an experienced racing driver, driving in the World Endurance Championship, having competed at Le Mans every year since 2014, which was actually his most successful year. Back in 2014, racing for the Alpine team in LMP2 class, achieving a podium finish and coming 3rd. No doubt he'll be wanting to better that in this race. We may not be in LMP1, which is how he races now, but he'll be wanting to prove how fast he really is. And with a 3-minute 54-second lap, he's doing a grand job of it. Ollie Webb also taking part today as Michelin ambassador, because of which, and his racing driver credentials, means if he does win, he won't win the tyres. This man, however, keeping a lead, currently still 5.8 seconds. He'll be thinking about how many donuts he can do in his car. Because he's going to get a free set of tyres if he keeps this performance up right to the end of the race. A reminder that the fastest SCD member in the race today in our Michelin SCD Final wins a set of Michelin tyres for their supercar. Paul Wallace again also having a bit of clear circuit here. Not opting for a Lamborghini this time, and taking the common choice of the AMG GTR. A Lamborghini man at heart though, owning an LP 640. Big favourite in the club, as he decides to pit earlier than planned. I was expecting most of the AMG cars to come in on lap 8. Like Ricky. We also have Ollie Webb in the pits. Again, another early stop, switching onto those mediums. Losing a lot of places while he's in the pits. Back out onto the circuit. Holding third position. Having only lost ground to the iValet Nissan GTR. This seems to also be doing very, very well on fuel. Ricky out front, I've just found out, is actually running fuel setting 3, so he's running half lean. Continuing on lap 8. Getting another lap out of those Michelin soft tyres. Will this give him an advantage over Ollie? He has to put in a stonker of a lap to hold out. Is that why he was losing a lot of time to Ollie Webb? He now has a 20-second lead over Rob in the iValet GTR, who has not yet pitted, with another 6 seconds behind to Ollie Webb. It's possible that Ricky will be able to maintain his lead, especially if he doesn't have to stay in for too long with that fuel setting. Ollie Webb will be looking to put some flying laps in now on the mediums. Joel going for a look. It's a terrible shot, and he makes it stick through the Michelin chicane, gaining another place. Aaron dropping back. I think he might have pitted. Having had a decent stop, some clean air there. Lost a few places to those that have not yet pitted on at the end of lap 7. He'll be wanting to impress his Mexican fan, Nathaniel Nate Dog Martinez. We have fans watching this race as far as Mexico. This SCD Michelin Championship having become a global sensation now at that claim. Kart 27 Porsche of Nigel. Running a clean race, back in 10th position. Running wide on the exit to Mulsanne, as does G. And he spins! G spins at the end of the Mulsanne straight. Not the best of turnaround manoeuvres. There's quite a bit of damage on that car now. And into the pits comes Ricky. Can he make it back out before Ollie Webb and maintain that lead? Watch. It's going to be close. Switching onto the medium tyres. He's refueled. And he's out on track. Where is he out on track? And Ollie Webb. So Ollie Webb now in the pits. He must have had an off earlier on and lost out. Or did he misfuel his car? So Ollie Webb is now back out of the pits and he is 16 seconds behind the lead and only 1.5 seconds in front of Paul Wallace, who's running also on mediums. As Paul runs wide in Tete Rouge. Is this going to be a battle to the finish for second place? He's bearing down on Ollie now. Paul using the control pad. This is shaping up to be an exciting finish. Now on lap 9 of this 12-lap race. Webb extending his lead over Paul Wallace in the hunt to try and catch Ricky Rigg. So Ollie Webb did make a second pit stop because as he came into the pits the first time he forgot to change to mediums. That's cost him dearly, having created a 15-second gap. And putting him in the sights of Paul Wallace, who want to tell his YouTube fans he better racing driver. Seeing a challenge behind him from Rob and the iValet car. Not quite sure his guys will be able to make that look clean again with those dints. And he's having a look at Paul Wallace. Can he get past into Indianapolis? Not quite. But he gets a better run. Looking again into Arnage. Paul shutting the door. Quite difficult to be so accurate when using a control pad. Ollie not really pulling away from Paul in the second part of this race on the medium tyres. Let's ride with Ollie now. Comes through the Porsche curves. It's Maison Blanc. Keeping it nice and smooth. Powering on too early through the Ford chicane as it comes to the start of lap 10. Quite a popular camera choice for Ollie this. We're all used to seeing his POV shots from his various race cars that he drives around the world. Small, smooth movements. Smoothness is key. As it comes into Tete Rouge. And onto the Mulsanne straight. Extending that lead for Paul Wallace. Now to 5 seconds. These two are probably slowing each other down, competing with each other. Rob used that power advantage down the straight of the Nissan GTR to put a move on Paul. This battle being for third place. Both of these drivers desperate to get on that podium at the end. Paul keeping it smooth and very defensive. Having a look on the way into Arnage. Sorry, into Mulsanne. Not quite close enough. Oh, and there's a bit of a slide from Paul on the exit. Will that cost him? As they come down flat out towards Indianapolis. Rob having a look round the outside. He's passed only just. Can he make it stick into Indianapolis? This is a tough corner when you're battling. Lots of chance of contact into there. Keeping it tight through Arnage. Paul will be looking at the back of that Nissan. Not wanting to add to any of them battle scars, but just wanting to get past it. Paul's lovely paint job seeming to be kept quite clean, keeping his nose out of trouble. Despite having to work his way back up through the pack at the start of this race after a really poor qualifying session. Moving round to finish lap 10. Into the Ford chicane now. Not close enough to make a move to regain that podium position. Third. As they start the penultimate lap. Mr. Silk Lightning back here in the advantage. Ollie Webb comes out of the pits again. Now down in 5th position. Is he purposefully going for a rest in the pits? Be working out where this comes in the list of racing driver excuses. Maybe he keeps popping into the pits to see his dog, which I believe has its own Instagram page. This battle's still going off for 2nd position. So Ollie Webb went back into the pits again to change back onto softs, using the rules of having another pit stop so that he can take more advantage of the softs, put in some quick times rather than struggling on those mediums. Not quite sure if that will pan out for him quite as he might have expected today, but who knows. This race is now for 2nd position as Paul Wallace retakes Rob. Coming into Mulsanne. Late braking for the AMG. Nissan really on the edge there, but keeping it tight. Rob will be looking to make his way back as they come down to Indianapolis. Tucking tight into that slipstream and he's diving for it on the right. Will this give him the line? He's made it past before the entrance. Bit of a slide on the exit to Indianapolis. But Rob currently holding a 1.4 second penalty, of which Paul Wallace is not carrying any penalties. This means if they cross the line and Rob is less than 1.4 seconds in front, he will forfeit his space to Paul. Oh, as Paul runs wide. This is not the time to be making those mistakes and not letting that gap get too high. Rob managing to bring down his penalty to just 1.3 seconds now. As he comes through the Ford chicane and starts the final lap of the SCD Michelin Final in second place in front of Paul Wallace. Fourth place, with a slightly battered looking Aston Martin, it's Chris. Shortly followed by Aaron, who's actually managing to hold on to this race. No doubt he will just go and lay down straight after this, flashing his lights as he comes into turn one, saying hello to all the fans. Holding out despite picking up that coronavirus. Currently suffering quite badly. I heard him on the radios this morning. He sounded terrible. Flashing the lights again through Tech Rouge. Ollie Webb now bearing down on Aaron. Can he make up another place and get into fifth? Joel dropping back, sitting comfortably in seventh. Had a terrible shot. So known as Stewart. Another AMG. Chopsy and bump car with a 2.3 second penalty. Shouldn't be harmed too much by that. By the two Porsches that are running in 10th and 11th. We're 37 seconds down from the back of the other Beetle. So we have three Beetles taking up the last three places of this race. Ricky race leader on in his final lap, holding a comfortable 17.4 second lead, having run lean, flashing his lights, letting us know that he's ready to celebrate. He's not there yet, he's got to make it through some more corners. They can probably hear the commentary as he comes through Indianapolis, smoothly into Arnage. This battle still going off for second place between Rob and Paul in the Nissan GTR and AMG. Rob having managed to lose his penalty somewhere by backing off. Ooh, as he slides it out of Arnage. This is a race to the finish. Ricky Rigg in the Porsche curves. Ooh, touching the wall. Side by side coming into the Porsche curves. Rob and Paul. Nissan versus AMG. Can he hold That AMG behind him all the way to the end. Ricky coming into the last section of the 4 chicanes. Rob keeping it really tight. The exit of Maison Blanc. And we have a win for Ricky Rigg in the AMG GTR. He's held a fantastic race, stealing the lead. But here's the one to watch. 4 chicanes, the exit of the last turn. And Rob takes the line for second. Paul Wallace taking 3rd place. Managing to keep that podium. Rob in the GTR looking very battered. Ollie Webb managing to work his way back through to 4th position. Aaron in the Nissan GTR, bless him, sounded terrible this morning, still managing to hold out for the entire race. We thought we were only going to see him for a few laps. He's held on to it and put in a blisteringly good performance of 5th place. Mr. Silk Lightning Chris in the Aston taking up 6th. Massive congratulations for a faultless race by Ricky Rigg in the AMG, who wins the SCD Michelin final here at Le Mans. For SCD members, we arranged this so that we could all drive together still, even from the comfort of our own homes. And what a stonking race he's had. He will be now gifted as his prize a set of Michelin tyres for his Audi R8. I'm sure he'll be quite chuffed about that. Over £1,000 worth of tyres for a competition we've been running from home. Great race by everybody, and it's been fantastic that they've all taken part. We've had some fantastic banter these past few weeks as we've been running this championship. Top racing to everybody. Everybody seems to have been very respectful. Well done to the entire team. Thank you very much for watching this. We will be having some more races in the future. We'll let you know when these are, because the racing here has been phenomenal. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you all again soon.